Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and Abigail Mowat.
Hello, everybody. I like how you left out Tech Wizard this week.
Well, you see, you're not just a tech wizard because now that you have a console, you're slowly becoming more than just a tech wizard. Tech wizard. What would your new role, tech wizard? What would you be? Be
Tech Wizard Enhanced.
Tech wizard.
Sure, we'll
Archwizard.
have to think about this later. How about that?
Tech archwizard. Archmage.
Cool.
So, what have you been playing?
You sounded so sad. What have you been playing?
Just because I don't think I deliberately left out Tech Wizard.
Well, I have been playing some more Spyro. And I think I'm up to roughly about 36% complete.
Of one of the Spyro games.
I don't know, because it just says 36% complete. Because I don't know how the game is structured, so I don't know if it's literally like a chapter after, like each game's a chapter. I don't know that.
Right.
Almost like an arc.
Wait a minute. So you don't pick which one you're playing?
It just launches you into the very first game.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, I should have explained that last week.
Right, okay, so it launches you straight into... So it's 3 games that they've remastered. The first 3 is what it's called, the Reignited Trilogy.
Yes.
And it just launches you straight in. You don't pick between the 3.
No.
Right.
So I think that maybe is why I'm not getting invested enough into this game, because this game does not hold a nostalgia factor for me, because I just played the third one.
Right, okay, fair enough, but are you actually enjoying the game?
Yeah, I think it's because I haven't played it before, so I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're gonna, if the third game is literally just that it's been remastered and made to look a little bit prettier, and everything else is going to be exactly the same, like gems in the same locations, eggs in the same locations. I don't know. This one, because I've not played it before, is a bit more of a challenge. And sometimes it seems really simplistic, because obviously it was originally supposed to be a child's game. I think.
I don't know if it was meant to be a child's game or not, but it was a very early stage, sort of mass-produced console game.
Yeah, but it's challenging enough for me just because, again, I'm still sort of learning how to use an Xbox. But how to use a controller for the Xbox, anyway.
How are you finding that compared to the PS2?
It's kind of the same. I just have to keep remembering that what do you call them? It's not. I keep calling it a joystick. It's not a joystick.
Analog stick.
Analog stick. One is moving and one is the camera, and it's just trying to get those two sort of like in my head to sort of work at the same time. Sort of like move and control the camera at the same time. It's a bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I enjoy it. It's very pretty. It's got... I would enjoy it if it had a bit more of a storyline. I feel like there's no real storyline, because I know with the third one, you actually had a lot of cutscenes, which was progressing the story along the lines a little bit. Like, just throughout the game, you had cutscenes where the villains were talking to each other.
Right.
In this one, there is none. You had like a cutscene at the beginning, which just sort of set up the game, and there hasn't been another cutscene since.
Maybe that is just... Has the first game come to any natural conclusion, would you say?
No, it hasn't. But I've not finished it yet. I've not finished the first game yet.
Right.
Because the idea is that you are in a world, and then you have to progress to the next world, and then the next world. And the way to do that is to go to like mini worlds within that world. You have like portals that you go through.
Right.
And you have to complete that world, come back, go to another world, complete that world, come back to your like first main level home world.
Right.
And once you've completed enough, you get to progress onto like the second home level.
So basically mini worlds and hub worlds, as it were.
Yes.
So what is it that's saying you're 36% of the way through?
Just the entire thing. Like So I think I've almost
No,
come
but
to the end.
What is telling you that?
The save slot.
Right, okay.
The save slot is telling me that.
And what's it called?
What's what called?
The save slot.
It doesn't have a name.
How long have you been playing?
I honestly, I don't know, like 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that. No, it must be more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. This sounds a bit more to me like that's 36% through the first one if you've not seen any more cutscenes.
It does have 3 save slots, but I thought that was...
3 separate saves.
Yeah, I see, like, you have a picture of Spyro, and then you have, like, the 3 percentage bars above his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought each of those percentage was, like, starting a new game kind of thing. You know, like, right, I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to restart it and save it in another slot. I thought each of those was a save slot, but now you saying that makes me think maybe this is the percentage of each game.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Right, that makes me a little bit happier that I have a little bit more than I originally thought I had.
Yeah, because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems to have gone a bit fast for no cutscenes telling you what to do. How many hub worlds have you been to?
A lot.
Oh, right, maybe the first one is then. And it's just 3 separate games of you playing it, not 3 separate games in the game.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We shall find out. We will find out. I've noticed that there's like sometimes in the games there were like these hooded creatures that you had to not run over, but you had to run up to because they were carrying eggs that you had to try and stop, and you also had to like blast them with fire or you had to hit them. They made this really annoying like giggly sound. Like I can't reproduce it. It was like like every now and then, and you no matter where you were in that game, if you were close enough proximity, you would hear it, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, you should play Fable 2, I think it is, and then Fable 3.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my roundup of Spyro. Shall we talk about the joys of Battlefield 1 I discovered I actually own? Because I bought the Xbox with the Battlefield 5 deal. So
yeah,
I could get
super duper whooper fooper glooper trooper.
Yeah, so I bought
edition.
So it came with the Battlefield 5 was a digital download. I've not started Battlefield 5, but I discovered it also came with like a deluxe version of Battlefield 1. So I thought, I'll try this. I'll try it just to see what it was like. Mm-hmm. And it started off, it was like really pretty. But
just to clarify, Battlefield 1 is the previous game that was released.
Yes.
It's not like 4 games back. Because you've got Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1. It's the previous game. I'm not saying that to you, I'm saying that to people.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought there was like Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4.
Right, well there are Battlefield 3 and 4 and there might be a Battlefield 2. But there was never Battlefield 1.
It says Battlefield 1.
Yeah, but that's why they went back and made one. Battlefield 1 for World War 1. It was one that was made last year. Right.
Well, that'll explain as to why it looks the way it does then.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks really cool. And the opening cutscene, I think you're a soldier and you're having a flashback to when you were actually in like the battle. And it just cuts, and you're just there. You're just starting, and you are on the battlefield. There's chaos going around you. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know who I was shooting at. I'm literally, I just eventually just charged, just shooting randomly, going, ah, ah, and then died.
Mm.
And then, but very poignantly, it comes up with a name and the year you were born, and then the year you die.
Mm.
And I did this with about 4 times within the space of 10 minutes for 4 different characters. And then eventually it starts, I think the main game was starting at, well, it's obviously it's still the tutorial version at the moment, I think, because I'm in a tank.
It spins you around in the tutorial fight. I've heard that you die and it moves you to the next sort of thing you can do.
Yeah.
For the other missions, if you die, I think you have to reload it, but like checkpoint system, because you've failed. But for that, it's that's the one time you can die because they try to get across to you.
I mean, it did. If the idea was to get across the chaos of war, but yeah, I had to actually phone you because I don't know who my guys are and who the bad guys are. I can sort of tell because the bad guys are wearing trench coats. There's a slightly different greeny, muddy brown. And then there's like a blue icon above some people. And you said, oh no, those are your guys. But I had such trouble maneuvering the tanks, maneuvering the guns, and looking at the same time. So obviously that's something I'm going to have to get used to.
Yeah. Yeah, the difficulty you've got there as well is that when it comes to driving, you get different driving systems. Tanks are different from cars. And
Yeah.
Cars are different from each other.
I would expect that, but it was just so difficult because it was just constant fire. There was no break, and I had no idea how to set it to easy mode. After I started it, I couldn't figure it out.
I think the tutorial just runs, and then you figure it out.
Yeah, but there was a point where I could see easy, normal, and hard, but I couldn't get it onto the easy icon somehow.
Well,
excuse me.
Pause and then go to options, and then it should be in there somewhere.
Okay. I will try that later.
Okay. Did you try any other games?
No.
Didn't try Fallout 76, did you?
No.
Good. Whew.
I have loaded it onto
You've installed it, yeah.
That's all I've done. I've not tried launching it at all.
Good, because it would probably cause your house to explode or something.
Yeah. But apart from the fact that Battlefield was actually very chaotic, I did enjoy it. But I think, I don't know, maybe I need to do the tutorial a few more times before I actually understand what is going on and how to... Or maybe I need to play a different game first. Because I tried to play Battlefield 1943 and then I realised I don't have a live account.
No, I wouldn't move to Battlefield 1943. I would stick with Battlefield 1. I would just try and get through the tutorial and then play a mission. It'll be a little bit less chaotic.
Right.
Because I have seen a part of some of the other missions. They're difficult and all that jazz, but they're way less just upfront chaotic than the tutorial is.
Okay, I'll have a go.
Okay.
Also, I discovered when you're driving the tank, you have to repair it if it breaks. But people keep firing at me and it keeps breaking, and I don't know how to fix it while they're firing at me. Because I'm like, come on, give me a break, guys.
I remember in the original Star Wars Battlefront 1, you could go a pilot type that would fix the vehicle from inside it.
Yeah.
And there were also these robots that were around the map that if you'd parked your vehicle next to, they would heal it up. So I'd just park my speeder right next to the robot that was healing it up while I was a pilot.
Yeah.
And make it very difficult for the enemy to destroy my vehicle. I remember going one entire fight without losing it, killing like 150 people to myself.
Well, I can't even move and fix at the same time. I have to stop and fix it.
Yeah.
So I don't really... Are you supposed to like partially fix it, move, partially fix it, move?
Probably, yeah. Fix it enough to move and then move. I don't know. I don't know what the objective is.
Have you never played Battlefield?
I've not played that Battlefield.
Which one have you played then?
I played 3. That was it. I think I played 3, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's just something unique to... I think it's... Is there an objective that you can see on screen? Is that big blue circular dot possibly an objective?
No, it's not a big blue dot. I never said anything about big blue dot. I said little blue dots over people.
Yeah, that's just marking your allies then.
It does have... You have to get to certain locations. You have to get to windmills. And it does have like a... I can't remember what I think it's like a big red circle type of thing. Like, it doesn't exactly say go here. But that's where you have to go.
Right, so yeah.
And you've got different ones you need to get to.
Depending on...
Where you are.
Which person you are, I assume.
Oh, I don't know. At the moment, I'm still in a tank. I've not progressed further than that.
I think that I genuinely... See, when you die, when you're in the tank...
I've not died yet, I don't think.
Yeah, see, I think... Yeah. I would just stick it out. I think the tutorial is completely different because they're trying to teach you something.
Okay. I also downloaded Life is Strange, with like the free version, just to see how long it would take. So I thought maybe my internet was a bit better, but it's not. So obviously the fiber's not been installed yet.
Hopefully. If it has, you've got a bigger problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, they said it would take a couple of weeks.
Okay, that's cool. Ready for Christmas.
Yay! What have you been playing?
I've just continued my adventure through Fallout 4.
Okay.
I think nothing interesting's happened beyond... There's a wee video I'll put up of a super mutant doing some sort of cross between a moonwalk and MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This. Because the guy, he's just standing there looking at me, right?
Yeah.
But he's obviously running backwards and forwards along his cover. But because of the game's rubbish draw distance, the game is converting the sort of image that I'm seeing from a super mutant turning left and right and running into... I'll show you and then I can describe it. This. But the legs aren't moving, he's just sliding like that.
Almost like a crab crawl.
No limb is moving, it's just I can't move like that, so I'm having to move my limbs. I'll imagine my limbs are stationary, my legs are stationary like that,
yeah.
But I'm moving from side to side.
That's what I mean, it's like somebody just like swiping you from side to side.
Yeah, basically I'm just sliding, swiping,
yeah,
floating, flying from side to side. And I'm sure it's because of Fallout 4's pathetic draw distance. But I was sort of a mixture of amused and really angry. But it does sum up. I've gone on about Fallout 4's pathetic draw distance before, and that sums it up, to be honest. Other than that, I've come to have a great appreciation for my character. After what's happened in Fallout 76. I think I'm really appreciating Fallout 4 compared to 76. Because it's not a great game in the same way that 3 or New Vegas are and was. But I have had fun with it. Fallout 4. I have had fun with Fallout 4.
That is good.
So, and I like the main character that I've created.
Would it be worthwhile for me just to like uninstall Fallout 76 and go buy a copy of Fallout 4?
Oh yeah, but I don't think you need to uninstall 76. Remember, we need to report to the people how enormous this game becomes. How massive are the patches? Because I had to install 2 or 3 patches for you, didn't it?
I've not even started playing it, and already there have been 2 There was an update when I installed it, with the same with the Spyro. I had an update with that,
yeah.
And then a few days later there was another update as well. So that's 2 updates.
Well, the Spyro update though, that was just the game, wasn't it?
No, there was an update as well.
An actual update to it. Okay.
Well, I said update.
Yeah.
And this one, there was an update. With Fallout 76, there was an update, and then there was another update a couple of days after I installed it.
Mm-hmm.
I've not checked it. I've not checked it for the last couple of days to see if there's another one, but we shall see.
But I've just been enjoying running around one of the DLC areas, and I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. So
that's good.
I fully explored the main map quite a while ago, so to have another map to explore was quite interesting for me.
Is this the first time you've played through it, or have you played through it before?
No, it's the first time I've played through it.
Right.
I've just taken...
your sweet time enjoying
the
it.
save is over 8 days of gameplay.
Ah, right, okay. I thought you were going to say it took 8 days to save it. I was like, that's
It's like
weird.
180 hours or something like that of gameplay. But, yeah, I mean, basically it's just that I'm grateful now that it's not Fallout 76.
Tumbleweed moment. So shall we move on to the news?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take this story? Because I presume it's still written in your weird bullet point / paragraph form.
I call it paragraph.
I call it irritating.
Battlefield 5. Now, it appears to be a reasonably decent game, actually, if you play it. But the sales are way, way down compared to Battlefield 1. I think UK physical copies are down 63%. And this is not a result of the game being terrible. It's not even entirely a result of the fact that there was one released last year. It's the result of the hostile environment that was created by EA. Do you remember when we were talking about it before, when Patrick Sutherland was basically saying, well, if you don't like it, don't buy the game.
Yeah. Was this for What was the game that it was the Star Wars game, wasn't it?
No, that was this game. He was talking about Battlefield 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a Battlefield 5 launch party in Sweden a couple of weeks ago. Oscar Gabrielson, I think he's the GM, gave a big speech about equality. And in the background, was a graphic with the hashtag Everyone's Battlefield and some hate comments around it that they received as a result of the trailer, which contained a female British soldier with a prosthetic limb, which historically doesn't make any sense. At this event, he pledged to carry on the fight, which is rather provocative language, to be honest. Then the images were posted on social media, which was basically just them picking a fight. And I was reading some of the hate comments that were in this graphic, and white men was considered a time of hatred. A time of hatred?
I was trying, what?
A term of hatred because they had a profanity filter in place during the beta, which excluded offensive terms. And apparently people couldn't say white men because it was malfunctioning and removing the phrase white men.
So it wasn't supposed to remove the term white men, it chose to see that as an offensive term.
Yeah, and so removed it. So people, when they didn't like the beta, they went and they commented white men, white men, white men. Which I thought was quite an inventive way of saying I don't like this. Or if they didn't like the trailer, they said white men, white men, white men. I think that was quite inventive. I wouldn't call that hate at all. In fact, a lot of the hate comments that they put up were actually just a case of I don't like this. You know, if you're going to call them hate comments, actually put up hate comments if you're going to bother to do it.
Saying I don't like it is not a hate comment. That's an opinion.
Yeah, well, that's not obviously the way they said it, but the point is that...
Oh, I thought you meant they were just like commenting, I hate this.
No.
I hate this.
No, it was things like feminism has utterly ruined this. Or it wasn't called... One person said gender field. I just think they were... reasonably intelligent ways of saying this makes no sense. But they were saying they were hate comments. Anyway, I don't know why they're doing this other than... It seems to just be sort of picking a fight for some strange reason. And it's EA. I'm pretty sure they only care about making money. Nobody's going to fall for this idea that they genuinely care about equality, even if the people do inside EA. So, I don't understand why they've done this to themselves. Because the instances of hatred that they're fighting against just aren't what they are saying they are. It's like they're trying to get people to hate Battlefield 5 so that they can then claim to be on the, I don't know what phrase I'd use, woke side, and then that brings in a certain type of clientele. I don't know why they're doing it though.
Well, I think that if you're going to try to make a realistic game, you need to make it realistic, and you can't be adding stuff in that never really happened if you're basing it on a historic event. And if you're going to include everybody, like females as well as males, you need to put females in the position, like these amazing works that they were actually doing during the First World War. Second World War. My opinion. I'm sorry. I'm losing track of what World War we're talking about. But yes, women did do amazing things during the Second World War, and I think that you need to highlight what they actually did. I think that if you invent things that they didn't do, it takes away from what they actually did.
Yeah, because
that's my opinion.
I think there are actually, the campaign is like 4 or 5 sets of missions with 4 or 5 different characters, and one of them is a female. I think she's from a Scandinavian country, and that happened, so that's fine. But what we're annoyed at is people running around with fake limbs in a fight and they're the wrong gender, because there was no female one-armed frontline soldiers for the British Army. That just didn't happen. And so to focus your trailer on it and make that person the frontline picture for your game doesn't make any sense when she's really only going to be used as a multiplayer character, which nobody has a problem with. Nobody has a problem with female multiplayer characters
No.
in any setting. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. It's the campaign they're caring about to make sense from that point of view. And all Battlefield 5, all EA had to do was turn around and say, that's just multiplayer. This is the single player character that we're using who's female. And I think they'd have been fine. But they turned it into a big thing. And I don't know why.
I mean, if you want to have female fight, that's fine. You know, just don't put it in a World War II setting. Just make a general war game. Like, make up a country, make up a world.
Well, I think if you're going to do... I think they had to do it to make it justice. But in fairness to what you've said, they have made Battlefield games set in the modern age, and they could have made female characters, and they didn't. So they try to force the female characters into the games that they are making just now, rather than turning around and saying, right, we missed the boat on that one, that's our fault, our bad, we'll make World War II and 1 properly, we'll have female characters when it makes sense, and we'll have female characters whenever you want them for the multiplayer, and then we'll just move on. They've deliberately picked a fight here, and I don't understand why they think it's a smart idea. It's like, do you know what I think it might be? The only comments they're getting are either angry comments or positive support comments, and all the people around them are doing the positive support. They're probably not exposed to regular people like me who's saying, this makes no sense, why are you doing this? This is unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know? So that might be why, because they're in a wee bubble, but I'm still not sure what it is they hope to achieve by picking a fight here when they have to start it before they can then take up the banner of righteousness. It doesn't make any sense.
Shall we move on to the next one? Because I think we're just going to keep...
Well, I'm just going to say that's why their sales are down. It's not because the game's bad.
Yeah.
So you have nothing to worry about. Battlefield 5 is A-okay.
Okay. I suppose at the same time, I do battle with the fact that, you know, I think, you know, make it more historically accurate, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, but it's also just a game. Without trying to not be demeaning, it's just a game. Move on with your life. This has happened. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, I'm stuck between those two sort of frames of mind. It's a game, you know, they can be inclusive as they want. They can do what they want. I just think that they should have done it in a more historically accurate way.
That's the point I'm making, is that they actually did. They just didn't tell anyone that and then started insulting them. So that's annoying. If you're going to set a game in World War II, then you should have to be respectful of World War II and history and truth. You know, these people can't simultaneously say to the people who are angry at them, you're uneducated, and then go and get World War II wrong. So it's... As I said, they could have just easily made a different game.
Yeah.
You know, Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 are modern set. They could easily have just turned around and said, right, female character, or we missed the boat on that, so what we're going to have to do is just make everything else make sense, and when we come back round to a more modern game, female character, rather than ramming it in to make themselves feel better, and then it turns out they've not actually done that. Yeah. They're going to argue and fight like they have. It just is so silly, Billy Willy.
And I've just seen the next 3 topics, and
don't give away. Don't give away. No.
Again.
No.
I'm gonna limit you to 1 a week.
Should we move on?
I'm limiting from here on out. You're limited to 1 a week.
We will tell the news. We will not decide what is.
I will limit you to 1 a week.
So, are we moving on to the next story?
Yes.
Okay.
The next 3 stories. Seriously, one story a week.
Right. So.
Well, at least on this topic.
Right. Well, we must tell the people. Also, this is probably 1 story from 3 sources.
Okay, but let's not go on a rampage.
On a rant, I think, is what you're looking for.
Yes.
On a rampage of words. It's called a rampage. So, praise be to Bethesda, the glorious, glorious Bethesda. They have managed to single-handedly, with their holy and godly powers, end the great canvas shortage of 2018. And they're going to give the purchases of the Fallout 76 Power Armor Special Collector's Edition
What the heck was that noise?
That was me getting the air back in after that enormous name.
That's like you were choking. Taking a breath is not.
Well, my throat clicked rather unattractively, and I didn't want to focus on it. But yeah, you just rubbed that in there. So Bethesda have ended the Great Canvas shortage of 2018, and they are going to give the purchasers of the Fallout 76 Power Armor Special Collector's Edition.
See, that sounds like a breath.
They're going to give those people the canvas bag that they paid for.
Woo! Celebrate. Clap, clap, clap. You notice how I didn't even clap my hands, so I literally just said clap, clap, clap.
Have you seen Big Mama's House? Is it Big Mama's House?
I've seen, years and years and years and years ago.
Or is it? No, it isn't. It's the Nutty Professor.
No, I've never seen the Nutty
Where
Professor.
one of I think it's the mother, is going, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Yeah, so that's...
I should really watch that one day. I've never seen it.
It's good. So if you've purchased that edition, please visit beth.games/2qdropm.
We'll leave the description in the. We'll leave the link in the description below. Yeah, we'll leave the description in the link
below.
Well done, as we timed that perfectly.
We'll just hijack the Bethesda website. Apparently, it's quite easy to do, and we'll put in the description in that link. So you visit that link and submit a ticket by the 31st of January 2018.
2019.
Thank you. I don't know why I said 2018. I can see that's a 9. So they're now doing the right thing.
I'm sorry. I'm going to savor this moment. I'm going to savor this moment where you read something and it was wrong.
It's going to have to last you a long time, so I'll let you actually enjoy it.
Ah, the glorious shine of you misreading something and getting it wrong. But Scott knows you point that out to me every single time when I get something wrong.
In fairness, I accidentally said the year we're in instead of the following year. I didn't come up with entire new dictionaries of words that don't mean anything and are just
You got it wrong. You got it wrong.
Please don't condescend to me.
I made you smile. Yay. And the sun came after that.
And the sun came out just as you said that. The sun came out to laugh at me as well.
No, it came out because you smiled.
Leave me, sunshine! Bring back the ice and the dark.
Have you seen the trailer for the teaser for the new series of Game of Thrones?
No, I don't watch Game of Thrones.
You mean Game of Thrones?
What did I say?
I think you said like Game of Thrones.
I think it's my throat clicking. I don't know why it's doing that. I think that's also why I said 2019 instead of 2019.
I see what you did there. Did you mean to do that?
Yeah. No, I don't watch it. They killed off my 2 favourite characters in Series 1 and I just thought I'm not putting myself through this again.
Spoiler alert. Who were they?
I'm not saying that. I don't give away spoilers.
Oh,
even
I
with
said
spoilers
spoiler alert.
No, I don't give away spoilers even with spoiler alert.
Tell me after we.
I'll do that. I'll do that, but I'm not.
I'm trying to think of who. Oh, I think I know who it was.
Anyway, they are now... So yeah, sorry, Bethesda, back to the canvas bags. They're now doing the right thing. They're providing the purchasers of the Special Collector's Edition of...
Sorry, did I just zone... What happened there?
I said it all flawlessly and you just fell asleep. I don't know what happened. Anyway...
Yay, Bethesda for doing it. Yay.
Yeah, they did the right thing and they gave the purchasers of the Fallout 76 Power Armor Special Limited Collector's Edition the canvas bag that they paid for, but why did they need to be forced to do it with threats of lawsuits rather than just do the right thing?
I don't know. Can we just say they did the right thing and move on to the next story?
No, because I care about Bethesda because they make games I really care about. Like one of the games you really want to play is Skyrim.
Yes.
They make that. they're making an Elder Scrolls 6, and if they absolutely butcher it, like they've butchered 76, Fallout 76, then it's going to break my heart into tiny little pieces. So I'd rather
oh no,
they
don't.
didn't. I'd genuinely rather they just got it right, rather than whatever it is they're doing at the minute. So it worries me that they've become so greedy.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know why they were forced to do this.
Or had to be forced to do it, yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, I hiccuped. I don't know why you had to know that, but there you go. I'm so used to just apologising for it whenever it happens.
That's the name of this episode. I'm hiccuped.
I hiccuped.
It concerns me that they had to be bullied into doing the right thing after. But maybe it's like Xbox. You remember I've told you this story before about...
Yes, about the guy who wanted to use the Xbox, couldn't, and they said, well, tough luck.
Okay, that's not the story at all.
I thought it was.
No, originally you would have to be connected to the internet to play it. And so somebody said, well, what if we've got poor internet signal? He said, well, any internet signal should be enough as long as you're just playing it. And somebody else came along and said, well, we don't have internet where I live. I'm having to send this email from my school or something like that. And he said, well, move.
That's what I said.
Well, no, you said, well, tough. No, he told the person to move house so he could buy an Xbox. Like, that's just ridiculous customer service. I believe that gentleman was shortly handed his P45, and it's America, so probably a shotgun as well.
I think that's a bit extreme. I think you need to retract that statement. Retract it!
It's America.
I demand you retract that.
It's America.
I demand you retract that.
What part of...
I am co-founder of this company.
So, what do you want me to retract?
There was a shotgun.
I said probably he was given a shotgun as well, because it's America, which means it's RoboCop, where if you get fired, you can't afford anything, so you throw yourself out the window.
Next story.
I will say this, though. I hope that nobody did commit suicide. Okay? It was a RoboCop joke. But I hope this gentleman is absolutely fine.
So do I.
But it was a really, like...
Maybe he was having a really bad day.
Yeah, and he took it out on that person. Just move then. I mean, that was... That doesn't strike me as somebody who's angry. That strikes me as somebody who's completely and utterly unaware of anything, you know?
I've called up places before for customer service, and I've had that kind of attitude thrown at me, and I just go, do you know what? I've worked in those environments. You can have really bad days.
Yeah, but this guy wasn't customer service. This guy was the guy who was in charge of the.
Yeah, robot. But I mean, you can have bad days in an intense environment. You can have bad days, and maybe he was just having a bad day.
Yeah.
But choosing to look at that side.
But it was on the back of is it DRM?
I don't know what that is.
Basically, you wouldn't be able to trade games, and every copy of the game you bought would come with a code that only ever allowed you to play it.
Right.
And then you'd have to be connected to the internet to play it because of that. And then he told people to move house if they didn't have good internet.
Oh.
So it was the entire thing. See, that's the problem, is it wasn't just him saying, look, I'm sorry, I had a bad day and I shouldn't have done that. It was...
Oh, excuse me.
The entire thing. See, it made sense for him to say, we'll just move, compared if you look at the rest of the decisions that were made.
Okay.
But I don't want... maybe it'll be like that, because Microsoft, Xbox have come around since then. They've put a real effort into single-player games and all the rest of it, and making it easy to share games and making it user-friendly, because they got slapped down several times by the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the same will happen with Bethesda, because Fallout 76, sales-wise, is a joke. So hopefully it'll be the same.
Next story.
Well, no, this is actually... you said it's good, right, that this has happened. It's good that they're handing out the
Yes,
bags.
and I know what the next story is, because you sent me the link for it.
Bethesda screwed up the ticket system for you getting your canvas bag. I laugh only because it would take water to weep. The customer support website that was responsible for this ticketing system that allowed you to register your claim for a canvas bag was allowing some customers to see the support tickets submitted by other customers. Unfortunately, the information displayed included usernames, actual names, contact information, such as emails and addresses, and proof of purchase, including some information to do with the mode of purchase, shall we say. This did not include full card numbers or passwords, but the use of the phrase full card numbers suggests that part of your card number was displayed. Throughout the statement released, when Bethesda admitted to this, they kept saying that it was a limited number of customers' information that could be viewed. But we know from people that could see it and who told us and blew the whistle on it that it was 8 pages. And this has only just gone up, this rollout for a ticket. So if there's a chance you could see everybody's for a while.
I know when you sent me this, I was panicking because I was like, I've got Fallout 76. Does this affect me? And then I realised, no, it won't.
Because you haven't done anything with it, for one. But also, you don't have the appropriate Fallout 76 power armor collected.
Sorry, were you having an asthma attack?
Fallout 76 power armor limited collector's edition.
No, reverse that.
Edition collector.
No. You know, like in Ace Ventura.
76 Fallout.
You know, in Ace Ventura.
No, I am not going.
That's why I was joking.
Towel off.
Yeah, they have made a big mistake here, but is it them that run the website or is it outsourced?
No, it's theirs.
Okay, and have they taken it down?
Yes, they have for maintenance, and I'm not entirely sure. They might be legally responsible even if they outsourced it, because a lot of the information comes from them. Right. But it is theirs, and they have taken it down to fix it. The link is beth.games/2qdropm. That sounds like it could be a Dropbox of some description. I'm not sure. But you submit a ticket that has all your information to prove you bought that copy of the game. Yeah. And so they then didn't properly protect the information, and that is, see, the thing is, some of that information is out there. So that's lawsuit stuff. That's lawsuit stuff, and there's no way around it, you know. Yeah. The rest of that stuff is like turning around and accidentally finding somebody's belongings in your garden. Now you've got the choice. Do you hand it back or not? If you keep it, stolen goods. But if you hand it back, you're fine. But in this particular instance, they've caved the postman's skull in. It's too late. You know, the cat's out of the bag with this particular information. It's already out there. A lot of those people are going to have to change bank card details and possibly get new email addresses or something. I mean, we're talking about their home address.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I think that's lawsuit territory that I don't know how Bethesda are going to get around. They're going to have to offer some serious compensation to those people, and 500 atoms is not going to cover it. No.
Well, so what did you say? That's like about £4 or something?
It's £4. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Could you imagine if there's potential danger to you and your family because somebody's just released your private information out. I know. And they come up to you and say, "Ooh, would you like 500 imaginary Bethesda monies? You could buy a lamp." That's it. You can buy the lamp. Yeah. Could you not just give me the lamp? No. Have the imaginary monies. It's just, they're going to have to, I mean, that's serious. That's thousands upon thousands of pounds, dollars, rupees, yuan and yen to everybody that's been affected. Yeah. Because that's home addresses. You can't change that. No. So, and if you do change it, they're going to go down the street and say 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 5,763,225, 48. Somebody's going to go, I think that's the one that changed its address. So it's...
I heard something once that they changed, was it 21B Baker Street? Because they had the actual Sherlock Museum, but I think that's what it was. And the Sherlock Museum wasn't 21B Baker Street. It was something else, and they had to like change the actual address. I need to look up that story, but I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
I think I heard it on QI.
I think that you've... Yeah, I think the problem with that story, as interesting as it is you have not actually said anything. I think they might have changed an address of something. It was a building or a something or maybe something else. And they changed the address from something to something or something back to something.
I'm going to smack you.
I just don't know what the story was. I didn't follow it at all.
They were annoyed at the fact that the Sherlock Museum wasn't actually 21B Baker Street, because I think that's his address.
Aye.
In the books.
221B.
B Baker Street. So what they
did
was...
No, you be Baker Street.
You'll be annoying. So they had to actually change it. So there was a house that was actually 21B Baker Street. And they changed... I don't know.
So they had to change the address of a different house that actually was 221B.
I think so. I think that's true.
Oh my, that's just a bit...
I need to check that. Please don't use me as... I am as reliable as Wikipedia.
Oh, I remember. I think that might have been the way they said, who lives at 221B Baker Street? And then they said, oh, it's Mrs. Edgmonton or something like that. Because there's actually a 221B Baker Street in London and she lives there.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you mean now.
I swear it was on QI at one point.
Yeah, that's
they
what I think it was, because everybody said Sherlock Holmes and it went because they got the cat out and started pulling its tail. And then they came up with the real answer. Although, did anybody actually go down to 221B Baker Street and check that?
Probably.
Oh, so that's a pretty good... That's a reasonable name for like a division or something like that. With the 221.
Should we move? So apparently, to make Fallout 76, Bethesda did a large copy and paste job from the coding for Skyrim and Fallout 4. Would you like to tell me more?
My Betty Pew, you were able to read it. Oh, this is such a happy day. To read on your you read a newspaper. You can barely read in English. And that's why... Is that the glasses? Do they really help you read off of that screen as well? Or is it just the paper?
Anything off white.
Right, okay. Can you see my face? If I wrote my name on my forehead...
Unfortunately, I can.
Or if I just said mug on my forehead, would you be able to read it? Or would it be too white?
I don't need somebody to write mug on your head. I know that instinctively.
Yes, I would like to tell you more. As you said, they did a large copy and paste job from the coding for two previous games that they made, Skyrim and Fallout 4. That's one of the reasons that Fallout 76 basically looks like Fallout 4, even though Fallout 4 was made 3 years ago. Reusing coding isn't really a big deal. Other games have done an awful lot of it. I think Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, stuff like that.
Other movies have done it.
Reuse coding, probably not, but...
No, but they reuse animated sequences.
Yes, fair enough. But they've been reusing coding for items and landscapes and textures and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal, but it's the scale here that's troubling. Because it's a massive amount of the game. And the real scary thing is that they even transposed bugs that they then didn't bother to fix. So the bugs that were there in Fallout 4, that they then moved and didn't fix and are now reappearing. A lot of those bugs probably have fixes from the previous game Fallout 4,
yeah,
which they recently released a 3 gig patch for, by the way, so they're still having to fix that game, and they didn't bother to fix Fallout 76 before releasing it. That's quite troubling. But this is where it just gets a bit, oh, right, I see what you've done here. However, it also appears that certain items were then deliberately removed from 76 so that they could be put in the Atom Shop,
Right.
the microtransaction shop, and sold to the player for real money. So you hand over your real money, you get given the imaginary Bethesda money, and then, although the terms imaginary money and real money really don't mean anything because no money is real, but they then give you the atoms and you then buy the useless tat that's massively overpriced. So far somebody's done some data mining and they found that 28 items of clothing, including, this is funny, the postman outfit which comes with a canvas bag. Okay, so I thought it was funny. 12 headgear pieces, 1 eyewear and 1 facewear, the banana bandana, as you so hilariously misread, which I thought was very funny, because you then made fun of me for misreading something.
Yeah, but I'm dyslexic. It's not funny with me.
Thank God you finally said something. Genuinely, I thought I was going to have to prove to the people listening, all 2.5 of them, that I hadn't killed you. This is my alibi for putting you under the patio. She was here the whole time.
Yeah, but I've been told to get picked up between 1 and 1:30, so...
Yeah, your dad's going in there as well. Additionally, there are more Fallout 4 items planned to be added to Fallout 76 later by the estimates of the data miner. That's a great name. I was a data miner that dug all this information out. Approximately 25% of the Atom Shop apparel will be from Fallout 4. A lot of the workshop items from Fallout 4 are also coming to 76, and according to Mr. So a lot of the workshop items that were additional that you could make yourself or were added by DLC and all the rest of it, they're coming as well.
Yeah.
And the sneaky suspicion is that they'll be put in the Atom Shop. Apparently there's some things you can actually just find by yourself in the real world that are available in the Atom Shop that the Atom Shop doesn't tell you could find by yourself. So
What do you mean real world?
In the real game world.
You need to watch what you're saying, because I'm starting to worry about you.
In the real world.
This is the real world, Tommy. That's not.
Interesting. This
This DLC I don't approve of.
This built up area looks very well maintained for post-apocalyptic nuclear strikes. Yeah, so the sneaky suspicion is that they're going to put that into the Atom Shop, not the real world. And that you can get certain
You're the one who
things,
said real world.
Yeah, you can get things from the actual game world that you can also buy in the shop, and the shop doesn't tell you that.
Yeah.
It's just a wee disclaimer saying can be found in game. It would be enough, but they haven't. That seems a wee bit sneaky. According to Mr. Matty Plays, a source for some of our news, he has accrued around 2,000 atoms in 70 hours of play. Now here's the thing, that might include the 500 you start with. And other estimations have put the limit at about 500 atoms a week. I think it's 570 if you get everything. Now, remember that the items you can purchase in the Atom Shop are priced between about 150. For clothing items, it starts at about 200 to near 2,000 atoms. I think it's 1,800's the largest I've seen for some Vault-Tec armor paint, which was included in Fallout 4. And 500 atoms is 4 of your sterling pounds. So they copied and pasted from the previous games and then added an extra charge to it. It's not even brand new content, it's only in this game. And then they've massively overpriced it. I mean, that's genuinely... it's $18 for the Vault-Tec paint armor, 1,800 atoms. So 75 pence an atom, £4 for 500 atoms. That's well, how much is that? 1,800 atoms.
1,800 or 18,000? Did you say?
1,800.
I don't know. I can't. It's too early in the morning to do math in my head.
Well, it's 500 atoms for £4. So it's 500 or £4 times by 3, which is £12, to give you 1,500 atoms, leaving you with 300 atoms. And if it's 500 atoms for £4, it's 100 atoms for 75 pence. So it's 75 pence times by 3, which is £2.25. So it's £14.25, I think.
Right.
75 plus 75 is £1.50 plus 75
I'll
is £2.25.
take your word for it. I need a calculator to do all that because I am just that bad at math.
Well, while I'm telling the rest of the story or giving my opinion on it, why don't you add it together on your...
No, you do it.
I don't have a calculator, you do.
You have a head though.
Well, I just did it. I just wanted to make sure I was right before we put this out, and then I get absolutely slated
Right, okay.
by my maths teacher relatives.
Right, hold on, I need my calculator.
So as I said, they copied and pasted a lot of stuff from Fallout 4, which made the process of actually making 76 cheaper, so they were going to make more money from it. They then took stuff out of the game deliberately and put it back in with an extra charge. They massively they hiked up the charge for that stuff by a huge rate, and then sometimes they didn't bother to... Give me a second. They didn't actually bother to tell you that you could have got it by playing the game rather than buying it. So what have we got?
1440.
Right, show me the calculation you did, please.
Okay, I did 1800 divide by 500.
Why?
I don't know.
Do 1800, do 18 and times it by 0.75.
1350.
Okay. So that's weird. Yeah, I don't know why I was adding 0.75. I don't know why I did that. It's not 3/4, it's 4/5, so it's 0.8, which is 2.4, not 2.25. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
I got the right answer then. But you asked, why did you divide 1800 by 500? And then times that by 4. And I got the right answer.
Yeah, how many 500s there are and then times it by 4, yeah. I don't know why. I just think this demonstrates what we're both not doing particularly great today, and for me to think that 4/5 is 3/4.
I'm just happy I got it right.
Yeah. Well, I did the mental math correctly. I was just using the wrong numbers. I don't know why. My reading's not been top notch today, has it? We'll move on to a slightly more fluffy story that maybe my gran will appreciate, because she does actually listen. Shirley Curry is a woman.
That's the end of the story.
I've got quite a bit wrong today just from reading. I'm taking this one point at a time here. She is 82 years old. And she's a YouTuber, apparently. Because I've forgotten
She's a YouTuber.
Because the R has come off. She's a YouTuber that streams Skyrim Let's Plays.
Good for her.
She is actually playing herself. She commented on... people absolutely adore this, by the way. And she commented on a Pete Hines interview that was obviously commentable, so it might have been YouTube or something similar that it was on. And she commented that she would... Basically, I've not got down the actual quotes, but to paraphrase it, she won't be able to play Elder Scrolls 6. Because when it comes out, she'll be 88. People are now pushing for her to be immortalised in Elder Scrolls. Like Eric West. Eric West was an Oblivion fan.
Yes.
Visited Bethesda in May 2011 before dying from cancer, and I believe the game came out in November 2011, so he would not really have had a chance to play it. He was subsequently added to Skyrim as Eric the Slayer.
Sorry, so that was my stomach if you heard that.
Yep. Pardon your belly. There is a petition on change.org to have her added to Elder Scrolls 6. And that's very early in development. unlike Eric's Slayer, which was added much later. So this should be very easy for Bethesda to do, and it would get them some of the brownie points back that they've just squandered with 76. And others have started to making a Skyrim mod to add her to Skyrim, potentially as a follower. So she can fight stuff with you, so you'll be going around Skyrim with an 82-year-old woman.
Cool.
And I think this is just a lovely wee story.
It is. It's so sweet.
It just she's not been playing video games since she was a wee lassie, is she? So it's nice to see that she's
enjoying herself, and
it's nice that she's found something. She's tried something new. She's found that she likes it. She's kept doing it. She's shared it with everybody, and everybody else has gone, yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm happy with this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nice story. And then she's turned around and said, "Oh well, I'll be dead by the time Skyrim 2 comes out."
Well, she might not be.
No, she might not. She might not. But
I hope she's not.
Exactly. But there's she's not Japanese, so there's a chance that she won't still be alive. So she's just said that.
I know
out loud.
people that lived into their 90s who weren't Japanese.
How mobile were they? Compared with Japanese people who are basically still doing
Pretty
the can.
mobile.
Well, fingers crossed that she's not just alive, that she's able to actually play it.
Yes.
And that this succeeds, because, this sort of stuff's nice.
Yeah, it is.
And as I said, it would get them some of the customer appreciation going, coming out from Bethesda, then reciprocated in kind by the fan base, because Bethesda have stabbed everybody in the face. And as I said last week, they've got quite a few games coming out next year that their umbrella company is actually responsible for publishing and I think developing. So
all right,
they're going to be in, like Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
That's Bethesda. So they've got to. But Bethesda have been a bit weird for a good couple of years now. Fallout 4, they were weird about Fallout 4. They were really weird about Doom's release. They've been weird for a wee while now. Quite happy to do things that might make you think they were trying to hoodwink players rather than actually just supply something that's good. So, and apparently they're not changing the game engine for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. No point in buying them then.
No.
Because they're just not going to be up to any good. But maybe if they start listening to their fans, this would be this will start a boulder rolling that gets them listening to people.
Yeah.
And maybe it will also help the fans feel like they've actually got power and can say to Bethesda, "Look, mate, we're not buying your Starfield and your Elder Scrolls 6 if you didn't actually put the effort in, right?
Indeed.
See you later." But when it comes to just this story, it's naff.
It is a nice story. Should we move on to another nice story?
Yes. We shall.
Because I watched this morning.
I watched it yesterday. It's Obsidian Entertainment's newly unveiled RPG, brand new IP, intellectual property, just for those of you who think that was a game acronym. And it is called The Outer Worlds. Ooh!
It looks good.
What did you think of it?
Well, when it started off, I think like the game mechanics, the way that like that male character was moving about a lot, kind of reminded me of what's it called? Oh, Outlast or something like that. Just the way he was moving about. It reminded me a lot of that. So first of all, I thought I was going to watch something that was going to be a horror game or something like that.
No, I see what you mean actually about the idea of having...
it's just the way he moved.
I think that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was necessarily just that. I think it was the way you were looking at him.
Yeah.
Because you were completely stationary, looking slightly up and out at somebody who was bobbing around you a bit.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. It just kind of brought me back to that and just the horror of watching people play that.
Yeah.
But... yeah, and then that music dropped. Yeah, don't sing it.
There we go.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this looks like it's going to be cool. Looks like it's going to be a really fun game.
Yeah. I really like when they basically... It does... You've got to admit it, right? It is a problem with the world, the way corporations control an awful lot. And they approach that in games. That's what they've done here. You know, the corporations came in and controlled everything. But it's very...
Stop singing songs. And now we're done for copyright. Thank you very much.
I don't think you can be done by copyright by a country that doesn't exist anymore. That was a Soviet national anthem.
I didn't know that. But no, somebody will own the music to that. So
well, I've seen it done before on video game channels.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think we're fine.
Okay. Anyway, getting back to the game.
They're very communist, that sort of, we must take down the corporations, comrade. But I genuinely, I think the reason I thought that was because I saw a funny video on YouTube of Jedi taking on droids, and the droids were all dressed up like Nazis, and the Jedi came in, and when the Jedi came in, it just started blaring out the Soviet national anthem, which I didn't expect, so it was stuck in my head for the rest of the day. But once I heard the song in the game, I then replaced it with that. But in the game trailer, I replaced it with that. But it just looks so... And then you see the bit where he pulls out and he just goes, "You must pick a side."
Yes.
So he shoots the guy in the face. And then the woman who's there runs away screaming.
No, she doesn't run away screaming.
No, the other woman does.
No, she does. She's just like there, like horrified, slowly backing away. She doesn't run away.
No, she runs away at the end.
Yeah, but not.
Oh, okay, sorry, I apologise. I don't mean that you pulled the trigger on the guy. I don't think you actually see the guy. All you hear, it's a blacked out screen, you hear bam, and it comes back, and the guy's disappeared. He's obviously lying on the floor. And the woman is looking down at the floor, horrified, you're right, and she does a bit of, and then runs away.
Yeah, and then
I didn't mean she's just running headless chicken down.
And the other woman says, you didn't actually have to shoot one of them, but okay, you just be you.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was brilliant. And I like the idea of trying to deal with these I keep coming back to it. These corporations are going to be involved.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the multiple worlds. Because it's the outer colonies of the galaxy.
It's the edge of it's the edge of the universe.
No, he said galaxy.
I thought he said edge of the universe.
And he said known galaxy.
Oh.
And well, he might have said universe, but.
Maybe I'm thinking back to was it Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because they say edge of the universe.
I'll give you universe or galaxy because I'm pretty certain he says known. I think he intimates.
He said edge. He said edge.
Yeah, but I think he intimates that it's the known stuff.
Okay.
Because he says it's the outer colonies.
Okay.
But I don't know. It said to me that there could be more space outside that these humans haven't been to yet.
Yeah. So basically, they went. I think. What is they go, there's a bunch of people that have been chosen to go colonize a planet, but then they start selling the planet off to different corporations.
And the people seem to still be frozen.
Yeah, they seem to have just left them there,
in stasis.
Yeah, and is that the whole planet, it's the whole thing that you have to sort of take the planet back from all the corporations.
See, I don't think you're only on one planet because there's a part where a spaceship enters hyperspace or
light
speed or whatever it is they call it, a warp.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely
Well, it looks interesting. It looks like fun.
My overwhelming impression at the beginning was actually BioShock.
I've not seen that.
Because it just felt like you're in one of the bathyspheres looking out like you did in that game every now and again, the original two, or first one really. And I kept looking behind him to see if something was creeping up behind him to kill him. Right. Because that happens a lot in BioShock, but that didn't happen, so obviously. And then it went outside world. And I loved the bit where the song stopped. So that because the door that was lowering jammed. Yeah. And then he had to start hitting a wall or something, and then it came down and the music started again. And it showed you all the different faces. And my overwhelming impression is that you're going to be fighting the corporations in some sort of civil action, sort of war for freedom. You're going to be William Wallace of space. And you're going to try and free the colonists who are in stasis from the evil corporations.
Right, okay.
The King Richard hegemony of corporations.
Okay.
And I hope you do get to bounce around space a bit. And you remember I told you before about all the different stuff that looked like it was from like the 1920s, but then there was also space pistols and stuff.
Yes.
And then you saw all those corporations built on that planet.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So, shall we end it there? On some highlights?
There has been gameplay footage released, but I'm not going to look at it.
No.
Because I just want to be...
surprised.
And I actually spent yesterday listening to that song.
Over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye and thank you guys for listening.
Okay.
If you'd like to follow us on Facebook at
Bye,
OverShadow.
Abigail.
You end it. You end it. I'm not talking anymore.
So that's the end of this week's. We hope you enjoyed yourself, because we did. We hope to see you again next week. If you did enjoy this, please like and subscribe below. Leave a comment if you have one, and we've got all the links and descriptions, as we said, underneath, including the ticket system. If you still want to risk your house for a canvas bag, we'll put the link in. And you can follow us on Facebook at, I've not done this in a while, at OverShadow.ShadowCast, and you can contact us through email at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
Yes?
Thank you. And all that is left for me to say is thank you, Abigail.
And thank you, Tommy.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.